Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Culture Report. I'm Jamal Simon.
I'm Laura Casillas.
And I'm Ashton Brooks.
And we're celebrating a really exciting episode because we have officially hit our 1-year anniversary.
How time flies, guys. This is crazy.
Whew. It was a long time coming. It was a very long time coming, and I've learned so much. But I want to ask you, like, what's one thing you've either learned about yourself or, like, one thing you've learned, like, professionally over the last year?
The whole thing for me has been a learning curve. I just remember seeing some of the first shows, even when we were just testing it all out. And I was like, oh my God, just cringe a little bit when I see those, to be honest. I know. But it has taught me to just question a lot of more things that I used to. And I've learned so much from both of you guys and so many different cultures that sometimes you just don't, take the time to learn.
Right. I think for me, it's just being exposed to so much information and so many stories that we normally, like outside of this, that pertaining to our communities. So I feel like that was what's different. And then the development process in itself, because like we launched a year ago, but it was so, like, I think it was 6 months of like development. And and that was frustrating for me because it's just like, just trying to see it come together and sometimes hitting roadblocks. So yeah, it's learned a lot.
Y'all, we had a very different culture report at the beginning. Very different. We've come a very long way. But yeah,
that's part of development. Things change.
Yeah,
it's like
we're still changing.
Right, yeah, it evolves. And I think what it has evolved into has been really beautiful. And just like, I can't imagine doing this with anybody else. So.
Me too. More than 40 episodes. This is
more than 50.
More than 50?
Yeah, no,
What?
we hit 50.
Yeah, so there you go.
Get your math together.
I knew it was more than 40 for sure.
Okay. Well, hopefully more years to come, so we'll be celebrating every year.
Absolutely.
All right, so a judge has set a trial date for a black high school student in Texas who has refused to cut his locks. So back in September, 18-year-old Daryl George was suspended because the length of his hair violated the district's dress code policy. The suspension took place the same week the Texas Crown Act went into effect, a law which prohibits hair discrimination. After returning from his suspension, George was then sent to an alternative school for still refusing to cut his locks. His family has since filed a federal civil rights lawsuit, and a trial is set to begin February 22nd. I guess I want to start off with saying, like, there is a cultural significance, or what is the cultural significance to black hair that makes this such an issue?
I feel, I feel like our identities are so closely intertwined with our hair, especially with all the battles we've had to fight, even now, just to wear it naturally the way it grows out of our hair. Like, the fact that there even needs to be a Crown Act should show just how important it is. It's like something as trivial as hair. It's like, how does that impact the way I do my job? So it's like the fact that we've had to fight so hard for it just in itself just shows just how the significance, because we've been like beat down for it for so long.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a law, just to your point, that isn't even like on a federal level. It's only certain states, right? And maybe you can tell us a little bit of what the Crown Act is exactly.
So the Crown Act stands for Creating a Respectful Open World for Natural Hair. It is law in 24 states, including New York, New Jersey, Colorado, and in Texas. And so it's meant to prevent hair discrimination, specifically for black and brown people, students and employees. So he shouldn't be facing this. And the fact that he's having to go through this as just like 18, I believe, he needs, like, just a child shouldn't have to be dealing with that.
No.
Right.
Like in high school.
Yeah, I feel like the guidelines, the policies, whatever, are of course, they're like antiquated. But it makes me wonder, like, who are the educators, the people that are enforcing this right now? It's like, come on, this man is trying to graduate, and you're really focusing on his hair. You're about to interrupt his education just because of his hair, something as trivial as that.
I think it comes from a lack of understanding cultural nuances, and our hair is so important, especially natural hairstyles like locks and braids and twists, those kind of things that he has it. So the issue was with the hair length and it being below his eyebrows or below his earlobes. I think that's the district policy.
But he held it up, right?
But he took his locks and he had them braided, and so that it's like not below his eyebrows and not below his earlobes. But they are saying that because if he were to take it down, it would violate the dress code policy.
The superintendent did say that it was American conformity to, have all these styles or uniform styles in hair. But again, going back to what you guys said, who determines that? Are these like really old policies that clearly need to be updated?
I think it still comes from a lack of understanding and cultural ignorance. Because if you understand the cultural significance of black hair or what hair means to black communities, then you will understand how racist this is.
Oh, it's awful. We'll be following because I do want to know what happens with that one for sure. And a third grade math teacher in North Carolina has gone viral for her creative take on teaching financial literacy.
Anybody know what today is? Raise hands. What's today? You have to pay me rent. You have to pay me for that nice desk you got and that nice blue chair that you are sitting in. Anybody remember how much rent costs? Jason, $5. So I don't care how you pay it. I don't care what bills you give me. I don't care what it is or if it's got sticky boogers on it. You're paying me $5. Okay? Because if your rent is late, that's a fine. So,
In Shelby Lattimore's classroom, students earn Miss Lattimore bucks that they collect weekly from classroom jobs. At the end of the week, they decide whether they spend it or they save it, but they have to keep enough to pay monthly rent for essential classroom items or face a fine. As a black educator in a school with a majority of black and Hispanic population, Lattimore hopes her classroom economy can help bridge the financial learning gap for her students.
Oh, I love that.
I do love that too. And that brings me to ask you guys, what did your culture teach you about money, Jamal?
I feel like my culture in general, now that I'm thinking about it, we're just trying to get it. We're too busy trying to get it and catch up and build that wealth that I think they're just learning on the way. So that's me. I didn't really learn much as a kid. I remember in elementary school, they would give us a little piggy bank. And after lunch, we would give the moms or something our change, and then at the end of the semester they would give us a check, and then we would open a little bank account. So we learned little things like that, but nothing crazy. To this day I still don't know how to do my taxes. Don't judge me, mind your business. Mind your business. My parents do it at my big age. Yes,
What?
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
really
a fake adult, and I also don't have a passport because I'll be traveling because I don't have money.
Oh my gosh.
So
This is so ghetto.
But yes, she'll teach them how to do passports and all these things that are really important. And
First, you should know how to do your own taxes.
yes,
Everyone should
Ashton.
know how to do that.
I realized
very
that.
important. I didn't learn how to manage money or anything about money until I became an adult, and learned the importance of money and credit. And I think specifically when I went through the process of buying my first home, it taught me a lot about my finances because securing a mortgage is so financially invasive that it taught me so much. And I had to prepare myself to okay, I need to start saving. I can't be spending that much on my credit cards. I can't carry this much debt every month. All those kind of things are influence getting a mortgage. And that's something I learned. So I've learned it all as an adult.
And it's scary. Navigating all that paperwork to get a house is really scary.
Absolutely.
I too, we didn't talk about money that way either, smart budgeting or things like that.
Right.
In fact, we didn't even trust banks during that time. I remember my parents would save their money at home, or there's also this pride of having flash to kind of show your wealth
Right.
status. So Latinos do get themselves in a lot of debt because they go buy these fancy trucks, and we just don't talk about money. It's a white people thing.
Right.
So
I get that.
I think it's so important to have these teachers doing things like this to teach kids.
It's amazing, yeah.
Absolutely, because it will make things a lot easier, and we will pay attention to taking out a student loan and what that means,
Right.
and once you want to buy a house, because
Yes,
Lord
and the
knows
different kind of student loans. Read the fine print, please.
I was lucky and blessed because my student loans were cleared. So
Well,
lucky.
thank you.
maybe I should pray more. Anyway, moving on. The American Museum of Natural History is closing 2 major Native American exhibits to comply with new federal rules enacted by the Biden administration. So the update to the 1990 Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act requires museums to get consent from tribes before displaying cultural items. In a letter, the museum wrote that the halls that they're closing, quote, did not respect the values, perspective, and shared humanity of indigenous people.
Two contestants on the reality series RuPaul's Drag Race are making history as the first DACA recipients to compete. DACA was implemented by the Obama administration to allow undocumented children or dreamers to live and work in the U.S. During an episode, drag queens Geneva Carr and Tsunami Muse had a conversation about the uncertain reality people face in the DACA program. They got emotional about the uncertain future of the program after a Texas court ruled it unlawful in 2023. Thanks to DACA, both contestants were able to be on the show.
And religious trauma is impacting millions of Americans. That's according to a 2023 study. So one in three adults in the U.S. have suffered from religious trauma, and 1 in 5 adults currently suffer from symptoms related to religious trauma. The data also shows that LGBTQ adults are disproportionately impacted.
And a group of transgender veterans is suing the VA. The Transgender American Veterans Association is hoping the department will pay for and provide gender-affirming surgeries. They verbally agreed to it years ago, and this lawsuit is just to get it in writing and codify it into law. The VA has not commented on the litigation.
A women's-only group fitness studio in Brooklyn is facing backlash after allegations surfaced online of the gym not being inclusive. The controversy started online when a woman using ClassPass reached out to the studio to inquire about the gym and its classes. In a series of messages that were posted on Instagram, a representative from the fitness studio said that the women-only studio requires members to be female at birth after the woman revealed she is transgender. I spoke with that woman about how this impacted her finding a gym that is safe for trans women and what accountability looks like.
I always have this inclination to just really overtly state, I am trans, I'm a trans woman of experience, and I just want to make sure that that's okay, or that's being affirmed when coming into the space. And the response I got was very discriminatory and demeaning. Essentially, they said, we require the women that attend our space to be women from birth. My definition of accountability is understanding the impact that you have with your words, the spaces that you use or take up. A lot of it is very much impact versus intention, because at the end of the day, this establishment prides itself on including all women. But if you're excluding trans women, is it all women?
We reached out to Box Studios for a comment, but they did not respond. Laura, how does the inclusion of trans women in fitness spaces or any space that you may frequent, how does that impact you, or does that impact you?
No, trans women are women, and denying them, I don't think protects anyone. If anything, I think it hurts them. Mm-hmm. And if we don't make space for them, where do they fit? They're not men. They are women. There's no in between. I just really think it comes down to a lack of education there with whomever is leading this class or this organization. They really should look into more training for DEI to include more people, to be more inclusive of the trans community.
Right. I totally. What do you think about this?
I am conflicted because I'm thinking back on a somewhat similar situation. Not really. It was a coffee shop in Colorado that made it clear that they did not support queer people or whatever because of religious reasons, but they would still serve them. But in this case, it's like, okay, well, you could live whatever you want, but you just can't do it here. So that's where I'm kind of at a dilemma here, wondering okay, well, you can't consider yourself a queer-friendly space. I don't know if they do or not, if you're not accepting all queer people. And I feel like queer places, people that you'll see maybe a rainbow flag in the window or something, knowing that they're hey, this is a queer-friendly space. The people that frequent those establishments are also comfortable with it being a queer-friendly place, so it didn't have to be that. So as long as they're not marketing themselves as a queer-friendly space, if they want to be bigots and exclude an entire demographic of people, go for it, as long as they know that that's the message that they're sending out.
Yeah, I haven't seen where they market it as a queer-friendly studio, but they're in New York City. Right. Which is one of a cultural mesh pot gumbo of everybody. So it's surprising to me to hear a studio. But to read a bit of the message, she identified herself, the person she was looking for the studio. She reached out to them via Instagram, and they was absolutely, this is a studio for women like you. and she wanted to lead with like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm trans. Does that affect anything? And the message she receives is, we do require our members to be female from birth, and nothing that will give other members the assumption that there is a male in the fitness class. Other than that, what you do in your private time is not our business. Does that make sense?
Not that they require. First of all, that was nasty work.
Very nasty.
But two, are they checking everybody's birth certificate to see if they were assigned male or female, the sex at birth?
But this goes down to a different type of discrimination, where they're like, what you're really saying is like, you know, we need women
To pass.
Being like, do they have any trans women historically like passable or not passable? And I think that comes down to, do they have male features or characteristics that would alarm our community, which I think there's an ignorance in that in itself. And that it's disruptive, I believe.
A lot of times too, people think like there's going to be like some sort of assault with trans women being involved in all women settings, but studies have shown that straight men typically are the ones that would go forward with any of those attacks.
Right.
So I don't know, something is not fitting in there, but it definitely, those studies do show that there's less chances of a trans person attacking.
Ignorance comes down to ignorance.
Absolutely. And try your best to put yourself in spaces where you are accepted and you won't be othered. Because I'm definitely like with her and her journey and her fight and like what she's complaining about and what she's fighting for. But at the same time, like, please don't kill yourself over this. Like, go where you want to.
I think that was a part of her journey, like being, like when I talked to her, she's very specific about, she just had gender affirming care and surgery, and she wanted to make sure she found a place as a trans woman that was safe and inclusive.
Gotcha.
And this is something that she found on ClassPass, so she reached out to make sure it was a space, and eventually she found out that it wasn't.
Now we learn. Now we know, but we definitely will be keeping up with this, and like we'll bring updates as we learn more.
Right.
All right, y'all. Now to this mess. I'm a rapper now, y'all. Hold on. I got something for y'all. All right. In case you haven't heard the word on the street, mind your business, looks like we have a new rap beef to critique.
Oh, my God.
Let's go. No, let me stop. I'm not doing that. But you probably heard Nicki Minaj and the hot girl coach, not the hot girl coach, the hot girl coach Megan Thee Stallion have set the internet on fire after refueling their years-old rap beef. So last Friday, Megan dropped her track titled Hiss, in which she got a lot off her chest, calling out several rappers, allegedly including Drake, her ex-boyfriend Partisan Fontaine, and of course, Nicki Minaj. And there was one line in particular that really caught Nicki's attention. Megan raps, "They ain't mad at Megan, they mad at Megan's Law." So for those who don't know, Megan's Law is a federal law in California that requires information about sex offenders to be publicly available online. Now, Nicki's name was never mentioned, but her husband and brother are both registered sex offenders, so it wasn't hard to connect the dots. So quickly, Nicki quickly hopped on Instagram Live and went on multiple rants on X throughout the weekend. I'm pretty sure they're still going as we speak, but before dropping a new song titled Bigfoot. So taking a far more direct approach, even going as far as bringing up Megan's deceased mother. Now, first off, is there a such thing as going too low in a rap beef?
I don't believe so. And if you know the historical context of rap beefs, now, like, while I won't say it because I'm also not a rapper, so that's not my jurisdiction, but rap beats are historically disrespectful. They are meant to be disrespectful. The more disrespectful they are, it's like the more successful in that they land.
They're very competitive,
right?
Clearly.
So it's meant to be disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not new. We've seen it, and it's not a woman thing. We've seen it for decades.
No.
We got Nas,
Jay-Z.
We got Ice Cube and NWA. Yes, Ice Cube. Ice Cube and NWA, Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
Yes. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to like make it seem like, oh, whatever, the girls are fighting. The boys fight too. The men love to fight. The men are catty.
I think recently it was Benzino and Eminem. Like, they were going at it.
It's been Eminem and everybody. It's been Eminem and Christina, Mariah.
Oh my God, that one was
It's Eminem. We don't touch that. But like, no, I feel like as long as it stays on the wax, on the record, I love it. I mean, this is where we got rap from. Like, rap beefs, rap battles, all that. That's what it was born from. So I love to see it, but I don't like that now they have to add extra security to Megan Thee Stallion's mother's gravesite.
Yeah, that's
craziness.
Because the fans are going, like,
Yeah.
Nicki's fans are going, like, what are we doing?
Fans in general should have a little bit more maturity to understand, like, not taking it that far. And I think we see a difference in rap beefs now because, like, social media is involved. Back then, I felt like they kept it. Well, I guess you can't say 'cause Tupac and Biggie, they both end up.
Yeah, I mean,
dead,
yeah,
so.
people have died from rap beefs, so it's very, very real. And I feel
Right.
like that's where it goes wrong when people can't just leave it in the studio. Like
Right.
it becomes, of course, it's personal, but like this is music.
It was exciting for a little bit, but the tweets, Nicki was relentless on Twitter, and I'm trying. This is January still. February now. I'm trying to stay in a good state of mind and be positive. So like I couldn't continue with the rant, and I'm a barb, and it was just too much.
Rant on Instagram Live, on podcasts, on Twitter, like non-stop ranting. Girl, just get in the booth and drop something. Stop it.
Nick is good. Nick is good, but we have to admit that Meg's song was better. I heard both of them. I'm sorry, that was not Nick's
Well, I'm
best
from
work.
Houston, Texas.
That was not. That
So
was not.
I'm 10 toes down for Meg. But I love Nicki, of course. You're the queen of rap. I just need to start acting like it. What are you doing? Imagine Beyonce coming out here speaking to everybody, going on Instagram Live. No, that would.
I think they all do their own shade in different ways, and Nicki's just a little bit more vocal.
Yes.
I stand with your queen.
Ashton also. Oh, not us on the opposite side of the fence. He also thinks that Nicki's a marketing genius, which I kind of do, but.
There was one last thing, guys. I just didn't like that she cast a doubt again on the whole Meg Stallion getting shot situation. I think it's hard enough for people to believe it, even after it's been proven in a court, and I don't know, bringing it to light again. I know she faced a lot of backlash going through that whole trial, so I just didn't like that.
I think she was talking more about her line, but we'll address that later. Anyways, let's hop into the good news. The Biden-Harris campaign has hired Jasmine Harris as its director of black media for its re-election campaign. Harris, a former staffer for Senator Chuck Schumer, will lead the campaign's black media operations in an effort to reach black voters for the 2024 presidential election.
And the iconic Mexican group Los Bukis is making history as they become the first to headline a full Spanish language residency in Las Vegas. The residency, which will take place from May to September, coincides with the group's 50th anniversary and also marks another career milestone for Latin artists. Their first show will be May 3rd.
Es como cuando dicen que uno está enamorado, que se alborota el cuerpo, así igualito. Uno entrar y sentir esa emoción es demasiado.
A documentary a year in the making. Una Vida Nueva is the work of 9 News reporter Angeline McCall and photojournalist Chris Hansen, who spent months alongside migrants in Texas and Colorado as they navigated their journey northward. You can check out the full documentary right now on 9 News Plus. Laura, I know you were able to go to the screening of it.
It was fascinating. It really was. And the fun part, too, was also that you got to see some of the people that were in the documentary. So that made it even, I don't know, just you felt closer to those people that were in it, and you got to hear their stories. And some of them also went on to different destinations, but it was nicely put together. I mean, they did an incredible job with it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Johnston was there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Denver's mayor was there. But
Yes.
I will definitely, it's on my weekend watch list. I got you, Angeline. She has been working so hard on this, and so has Chris. For the past year, literally, she's been running around nonstop. So shout out to you. You're an icon. You're a legend. And we love you. And she's also a friend to the Culture Report, and we can't wait to have you back. All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining this week's Culture Report. We'll be back to continue the conversation next Thursday right here on 9 News Plus and 9news.com.